Hey, Andrea.
Hi.
I know that you're just down in Orange County compared to me being up in LA, but sometimes that seems miles and miles and miles away.
Especially at certain times of the day.
Oh my gosh, at certain times of the day, it's completely inaccessible.
Yes.
Hey, I'm really glad that you could take the time out to join me today. Obviously, we are going to be talking about Ignite Your Fire Within, which is our event that we're happening on March 23rd. And of course, you're going to be one of the speakers / panelists there. And we're going to talk about some of the other rock star women that are going to be joining us there. I'm super excited about the event. I know it's getting closer, but what's exciting to me is all the women that are coming. I've been, in the unique position to see everybody who's coming, and it's going to be just a fun turnout of really heart-centered entrepreneurial women who want to help each other. And I think that's magic things happen when women gather like that. It'll be really cool. I wanted to take this opportunity, though, to introduce you to more of our audience. Obviously, our Orange County people know you well, but if you don't mind, take a few minutes and introduce yourself. Tell people what you specialize in and how you came to know WREN and all that. So yeah, share.
Okay, sure. Well, hi everybody. I'm Andrea Arcega. I am a broker and the owner of Black Label Brokers and a little investment company called Pretty in Pink Properties. I've been in the real estate arena for over 20 years now. I started in loans. Actually, I kind of started off as a marketing manager for a small Coldwell Banker office in the city of Santa Ana. It was a good friend of mine that I went to school with, and I used to travel around with her and her mom and preview properties and just really fell in love with real estate. And had the opportunity when the tech industry kind of crashed to run over there and start building up her business and farming with her and writing a newsletter and doing lots of different marketing vehicles to help her brand. Basically, at that time, there wasn't a Fiverr to get a logo. I was a graphic artist, so I was able to do things like that for her. And then eventually her husband brought me in and to his office and said, I think you can do more than just marketing for us. I think you can be a loan officer for us, and that's something that we need. So I added that to my, responsibilities at the Coldwell Banker office. And so I was doing branding and marketing and logos and newsletter writing for the whole office. And then I started doing their loans. And I kind of did the marketing in exchange for their loans. That's how I broke into the mortgage industry. And eventually I got good at loans and didn't have to barter any longer. And so I did loans for about 10 years. Yeah, that's how I got in. I did loans for about 10 years, and then things started really shifting in the market. This is probably right around 2009. I literally was going home crying because for every 3 people I was trying to put into a loan, I could maybe get 1 qualified, and I'd have to let down 2 families, and it was just awful. It was terrible times. And so I left the mortgage industry and jumped directly from there to First Team Real Estate, actually in North Tustin. And actually, I never loved it the way that I never loved it the way I loved mortgages, but I will say that I was successful right off the bat, listings of the month, my first month there.
Wow.
And then just took that that information that I knew from doing mortgages into being, I believe, a more well-rounded agent because I understood the mortgage side of it as well. So I was able to help my clients, from start to finish. And I, in my opinion, was really strong out of the gate because of that. So I did the real estate retail sales for another 5 years or so. Got into the REO arena with a partner. We were selling HUD homes. That dried up. So I just been riding wave after wave after wave. As soon as that dried up, I decided to get my broker's license to stay alive. And because, we were closing a lot less deals and I didn't want to give up any percentage at that point. So I made the decision to become a real estate broker, worked really hard, took that test, became a broker. And then pretty much right at that point, I realized that there was something out there bigger. and better. And I felt that that was going to be real estate investing, because there had always been people around me fix and flipping and doing syndicates and just lots of neat things that I knew nothing about. And they were kind enough to make comments to me like, stop buying Louis Vuitton bags, stop buying Range Rovers, save your money because we're going to have a shift and you're going to want to buy property. And I didn't clue in for me. I didn't get it. I was enjoying my 20s and early 30s and living the, hip hop, rap lifestyle with my Range Rover, my Sales 600, and my Louis bags, and my very big house with a $10,000 mortgage. And I could afford it at the time. Yeah. But very quickly, I couldn't afford any of that. And so I had to go back to the drawing board. And that is when a gal by the name of Iris Veneration, actually her assistant, entered my life. I actually was doing a good deed. They had put a posting up, didn't know who they were, and they were asking if anybody knew of a venue that they could hold their Invest Club meetings at in Orange County. And I've been in Orange County a long time and have lots of friends with escrow companies and whatnot. And I connected them to somebody where they could hold their meetings. And that friendship, or that deed, turned into a friendship with Joanna, her assistant at the time, who said, you've got to come. I shared with her my story and that I was struggling at that time. And she said, you know what? You got to get into investing. You got to do the 60-day challenge, scrape up the money. It'll be a life changer. And you know what? It was. And that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And ever since then, I became what I now call a broker investor. And wow, it's just been a whole game changer and really amazing for me and my family. Yeah.
It's incredible too how things circle around, because now you are actually co-leading with Iris Veneration at WREN OC. And so now, somebody who once taught you, you're working.
My mentor.
Yeah.
She opened the door for me. She's absolutely my mentor.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I love that things like that can happen in real estate, right? I don't know. Anything's possible.
Oh, I have stories for days. I mean, really, if you help others, it just always comes back around. And that really has been my life. And one thing I did want to share with the audience, because as much as sometimes I kind of hide my personal life because I'm very private, I think that sharing it can be inspirational, and there might be somebody out there that is in the position that I was in way back when and might get motivated from what I have to tell you. So I had my first child at the age of 16 years old, and my second by the age of 19, and I was a single mother almost immediately. Just did what it was. I remember at the time everybody around me was getting pregnant. It was like the thing to do. It was crazy. I have no idea how knowing myself now, how I got into a situation where I thought I could have a young marriage and children so young, and why I didn't aspire for more for myself, being that I had 2 college-educated parents, so it certainly wasn't their fault. But that was my lot in life. And so by the age of 19, I had 2 children and had to work. And I've always been somewhat good with sales. And so I got into sales pretty much immediately, had a couple of really amazing mentors in the tech industry at the time. I actually was the youngest female, actually the youngest manager, but the youngest female manager and a Latina for the largest computer training company in the world at the time. And that was at the very young age of 21. So I started buying, my first property was actually a Sallie Mae repo or REO. And the city of Costa Mesa, I bought a little townhome there at literally, I think I was 21 or 22 years old. My parents gave me a $3,000 check for the deposit, a down payment. And I took advantage of one of the first-time homebuyer programs, and I bought my first property, and I've owned many since then. So that was really my start in real estate. But my start in real estate and my start in life really came from having to support my children and wanting better for them. I didn't want to get on, government assistance or anything like that. So I just started working at the age of 15, and I really never stopped. And I think it's important to share that because a work ethic is so important. You know, sure, I rode different waves, but I worked really hard all those times. I remember missing Easters and birthdays and being in the retail arena. I was grateful that I didn't have to ask for days off because I worked for myself. But there were times where, my commission wasn't going to close fast enough for my rent to be paid. I kept having to drop my kids off with my parents because I had to work. Even if I had my kids in the car, I was on the phone with a client. And, retail sales can be really, really brutal. And that's why I decided to work under you, Deborah, and become the co-leader of Orange County WREN. It's because I really have a strong passion for helping real estate agents specifically understand that there is something else beyond retail sales, even beyond commercial sales, beyond helping buyers and beyond helping sellers. We don't have 401k plans. We don't have retirement plans. I see so many agents working, farming at the age of 70 years old, trying all these, still doing the old school stuff. And what I wanted go out and say is that there is another vehicle, and it's called real estate investing. And there's lots of different platforms within that arena of investing, but you have to open your mind to something bigger and a little bit different. And if you do, it'll be similar to when I went from mortgage to real estate. And I stronger agent.
I think that's what happens at some of our WREN meetings. Like, a lot of the women that come to our meetings come to us and say, oh my gosh, it's so refreshing to be in a room full of women that are actually real estate investors. The truth of the matter is, most of the time when you're going out to real estate clubs, it's full of men, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've gotten such great education from men. It's been wonderful. Sure. But at the same time, they're not dealing with the same things I'm dealing with. I was a single mom for a while too, and you have coordination with the kids, getting places and doing things like that, and getting food on the table and getting laundry done and finding out what homework project we're delayed on. So and it's nice to be in a room full of women that are juggling just like you're juggling, and you have that camaraderie, and you all have the same reason that you're doing it, right? Like, I know when I was a single mom, I needed to supply what my kids needed, and so you just do it, and it's your why, and that was the reason I started my first business too. So it's really interesting. It's funny, Andrea, because every time you speak, I feel like we have more and more in common, and it's just such a pleasure, like, being able to have you not only lead the Orange County WREN chapter, which you just do such an amazing job at, but also, coming to Ignite and being able to share your story with all those women that are going to be at Ignite. I know you haven't been to Ignite before, so let me just tell you a little bit about what to expect.
Oh, please. I'm so excited.
First of all,
I saw the lineup, and some I know. Oh gosh, I saw the lineup. Some I know, obviously, from the industry, many I don't. And I just thought, oh my gosh, like, I know I'm one of the speakers there, but I just really felt humbled by seeing who else was speaking and thinking, is she just being nice putting me on the board to speak? Because these women are like crazy, amazing, successful.
Really,
so I'm so grateful.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Can't wait.
And the day for the participants that are coming, for everybody that's coming, is going to be remarkable. And what I like and why I designed Ignite the way I did was because I was tired of going to events where you actually don't get to engage with the speakers. You don't get to ask them any questions. You don't get to do anything. And at Ignite, we have a couple different panels. We have a panel of people that are very much accustomed to making chunk money, so flippers, non-performing notes, all kinds of wholesaling, all kinds of ways to make chunk money. And then we have another panel of all kinds of ways to make passive income. So, lady landlords, performing notes, storage units, all kinds of different things. But what I love best is that every one of the speakers, this includes you, everyone in the speakers is going to be sat at a different table at lunch. So the participants can actually go and sit at the table where they want to talk to that speaker and say, how did you do it? You know, some women who are agents that want to make the transition over to an investor are going to come to your table, Andrea, and go, how did you do it? You know, and it's such a remarkable thing that you've done. I've always wondered why agents who have access to all these properties aren't more investment minded, but it's a shift in mindset.
No idea where to start.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more about that shift in mindset and of how Andrea made it, come to Ignite. Come and join us. We're going to have fun there, and there's going to be a lot of heart-centered entrepreneurs that are willing to share their stories and connect with you. So I am so happy to be able to invite women to come and join us. So I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining me, Andrea, and I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks and spend a bunch of time with you.
See you soon.
All right, bye, people.
Thank you for all you do, Deborah.
Thanks.